Hi there, and welcome to your little bit of everything, your daily everything yoga practice. So yoga is just great for strengthening, lengthening, and also dealing with our stress and our emotions and our responses to everyday life as well. So it's just fantastic all-rounder for everything, and it has really supported my training and my life as well. So I really hope that you can find that in your yoga practice as well. We're going to start with a few breaths, but we're going to go onto our back to do that today. So if you just find yourself in a nice comfortable position, you can have your legs flat out if you wish, or you can have your feet up towards your bum. We're going to work on some breath to engage our core and our pelvic floor before we start. And we'll work on more softening breathing at the end. Breathing and breathing at the end. Okay, so if you can pop your hands onto your lower ribs here. If you're a female, that means just underneath your bra line here. We're going to take a nice big inhale through your nose and just be aware that those ribs don't flare up and open. So we want to keep everything as close to the ground as possible here. So a nice inhale through that nose, no flaring of those ribs. And as we exhale, we're going to exhale fully, pushing all of the air out, fully beyond what we would normally, until we feel our deep abdominals engage. We might even feel our pelvic floor, holding on to that for your next inhale through your nose. Big breath, and then we exhale everything again. And we want to add to that pressure in our deep abdominals here. Try to hold on, don't worry if you can't. Big inhale. And we'll re-establish or add to that pressure with our exhale. So just continue those breaths of inhaling really big through the nose, no flaring of the ribs. Exhaling fully, drawing all of that air out and adding to that deep abdominal pressure that we're creating, engaging our core, our pelvic floors. Good, big inhale. Exhale. And adding on to that pressure. Wherever you are, just make this your last big deep breath. And from here, we'll just release our arms down by our sides. We'll inhale as we did, no flare. This time as we exhale, we're going to push our lower back into the ground and then scoop the hips and gently peel everything off the ground until the hips are in line with our knees and our shoulders here. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, just push the upper body into the ground. Allow the hips to rise a little bit higher. And if you wish, you can interlace your fingers underneath your hips here and push away towards your feet. Just going to take a few breaths in this position, holding on. All the while, with every exhale, pushing that upper body into the ground. On your next exhale, just gently releasing everything back down again. This time we'll take our right ankle on top of our left knee. Inhale without that flare. Exhale, pushing the lower back into the ground, scooping the hips up off the ground and rising and holding here. Try to push that right knee down, but keeping both hips up and in line. Holding here for a pause if you wish. You can pop both hands underneath again and push towards the heels. But if that's not good for you today, just stay with a nice wide stance of the hands in that supportive position. Holding on for another breath here. And on your next exhale, we'll just release everything back down again. And just push that knee away gently and get a nice opening on that right side. And we'll switch over here. So left foot on top of right knee. Big inhale, try not to flare. Exhale, push the lower back into the ground, scoop the hips up and allow them to come in line with your knee and your shoulders here. Pushing your left knee down, keeping both hips high. And with every exhale, just pushing your shoulders into your floor. If you wish, you can interlace the hands. Takes away our stability a little bit, makes our stabilizers work a little bit harder. However, this might not be right for you today. So just take your body where it is today. And on your next exhale, just mindfully releasing everything away. Hugging both knees in. With your next exhale, bring your upper body up to meet your knees. Keep your hands on top of your right knee. Allow your left foot to go out nice and straight here. Now we're going to flex both feet. Take an inhale. And with your exhale, we'll just switch over here, keeping the upper body up nice and high. Exhale and switch. And switch. And switch. And switch. And switch. And switch. And hug your knees in. Allow your head and shoulders to rest for a second. And we'll just take that left foot and stretch it out. Again, we're flexing both feet, still hugging onto the right knee here. Bringing your head and shoulders up off the ground. And then we're going to straighten out that right foot. So staying up nice and high, I'm going to bring my hands high. And if you wish, we can add to this by lowering and lifting that right foot. If this is uncomfortable on your lower back, don't lower the foot quite as much, or you can have a bend in that knee. Just lowering and lifting, not too fast. We're not in a HIIT workout. So we'll go for another 2 here. And then just bring that knee back in for a nice gentle hug. Well done. That was tough on the core. Take a wee breath. And then we'll switch over so that right leg goes down straight, left knee comes in. Take a nice big hug. With your next exhale, just bringing that upper body up off the ground, straightening that left leg, hands up into the air, and if you wish to intensify, we're just going down and up with that leg. Don't worry about counting your sides, evening everything out. It really doesn't matter. Sometimes we stress ourselves with the silly things. Holding on tight here. We're nearly there. I'm going for another 2. And then I'm just going to hug that knee in. Good. Bringing both into our tummies. We can rock here and just massage out that mid back, lower back. Okay, and from here we're going into a little bit of a hollow hold. So we're just going to come up in any way that suits you best. So that might be crossing the legs and giving it a little bit of a momentum. Any way that suits you is fine. And we're going to come up into this boat pose here. So grab onto your legs if you can. If you need to hug into the knees, don't worry about it. Work with where your body is today and know that we are improving with every practice. Okay, so with an inhale, we're going to rise, and with our exhale, we're just going to lower slightly and then inhale to rise again. Okay, exhale to lower and inhale to rise. Now just go with where works for you. You might be looking at me right now thinking, holy moly, absolutely not. If it looks more like a bit of a crunch just now, go with it. That's absolutely fine. Do what works for your body at this moment in time. Okay, so we are falling with our exhale, rising with our inhale. And just go with your breath. You don't need to go with me. You don't need to rise as high as me. You might rise higher, I don't know. But you're working with your body today. And we'll go for another 4 wherever you are. Rising with every inhale. And in your own time, just find yourself up in this sitting position, and then we're going to crawl round onto all fours. Whenever you come into your all fours position, I want you to think nice, widespread fingers, and we always cling on a little bit like we're Superman if we can. That gives us some really good strength in our body. And don't find your position and then feel like you have to stay there. You're allowed to move your hands, you're allowed to move your feet in yoga, so please don't stop finding your foundation in this. All right, so we're gripping on nice and tightly. Let's just ease the spine off a little bit before we move on to anything else. So let the hips unwind, let the spine move around in any way that feels really nice and natural for you. Lean into any points that feel like they could do with a wee stretch here. And try to get all of these traditional forms of yoga out of your head, because everyone becomes really rigid when they do things like this and they don't actually feel what their own body needs. So just go where your body needs right now. Okay, tucking our toes here, inhale to lift our hips nice and high. And just paddle out and find your foundation that works well for you. We'll inhale just to lift that right foot nice and high. And we're going to exhale and just draw it in towards the chest. Inhale to bring it nice and high again. Now, if you need to drop to your knees at any point here, go for it. And bring it on in. And one more time on this side. Inhale. Exhale to draw on in. And then inhale high and coming back into your down dog and just paddling it out. Take an inhale here to round everything out, drawing the chin in and then into our plank position. And we'll soften our knees down here and just ease off in the back. If this position's not very comfortable for you, just come on down a little bit further. Just find where works well for your body today. And when you're ready, just rocking side by side into a child's pose here. If you don't like a child's pose, feel free to go up into down dog. We'll meet you there in a wee second. And coming back onto all fours here, fingers spread nice and wide, clinging on a little bit. Toes curl under, big inhale to lift our hips nice and high. And just paddling out to find a nice foundation. And we'll inhale here, left foot high. And exhale to draw into our chest. Inhale high. Exhale to draw on in. Inhale high. Exhale to draw on in. Inhale high. And exhale just to bring that foot back down again. Tuck chin to chest here. We're going to roll our spine, walk our hands out a little bit into that plank position. Just take a moment here just to rock back and forward or side by side. If you need a moment just to pop the knees in the ground and rest, just take it. Work with your body today, and remember, everything that we do is strengthening us
for tomorrow. Mobilizing us for tomorrow. And gently drop the knees here and find that nice position just to ease on into your spine here. And scooch your hips back a little bit. You can rest in child's pose, or you can meet us back up in down dog. Coming back onto all fours, just tucking the toes. Inhale, hips nice and high. We'll take a wee crawl up to the front of our space there. Just moving hips from side to side. You can have a bend in the knees. Just shifting your weight, moving from your centre. And when you get up to the top of your space, just hanging over your legs a little bit. Nice soft knees here. Allows you to come nice and low. Bend them as much as you need to. And with an inhale, rise. Big breath all the way up to the sky. And exhale. And just allow your hands to gently come down by your sides. And just move side by side from your centre. Just allowing those hips to move a little bit. Nice and gently here. With your next inhale, bringing that right knee nice and high. Arms coming up with your next inhale. And we're just going to hold here for a wee second, flexing your feet. Squeezing that knee up ever higher if you can. And with your next exhale, we'll just step that foot back, nice and gently. Coming into a little bit of a warrior one here. So we've got our heel ground down on the back here, and our toes are just out slightly, but we're facing forward. Just opening up in the hips a little bit here. Inhale, exhale, and just deepen down into that lunge. Every exhale just deepens us a little further. Be nice and soft in that back knee. Inhaling everything high, bring your hands down. Clasping behind you if you can. With your next exhale, you can either gently rest down upon that knee here, or we can come to the inside of our legs and just let the hands fall over our heads here. Inhaling, rising a little bit, bringing your hands down to the inside of that foot, and we'll just walk them round to our right side. And just go into a nice wide forward fold with soft knees here. Continue walking all the way over to the right side, hugging onto that leg with every inhale. Rise, and with every exhale, just pulling a little bit deeper into that stretch. On your next exhale here, we'll just go all the way over, walking over to this left side, and again with every inhale we rise. And with every exhale, we just fall a little bit deeper into that stretch. And on your exhale, popping your hands down to the right of that foot there, letting everything turn round. So the left foot points towards the top of your mat again, spinning the back foot round, coming into a nice hip opener here. Just easing everything off. If you wish, you can pop that back knee down. If you're happy here, stay here, or you could bring that all the way down. This will change depending on the day, the week. Whatever you feel like doing today, go for it. This is for you. It's all about how it feels. You might even want to come up and push into that knee a little bit. And when you're ready, just pushing the hips back, walking out towards the right side and letting that left foot come down. Coming into a little bit of a wiggly hip cat-cow situation here. Tucking your toes, inhale to rise nice and high with those hips. And when you're ready, we'll just take another stroll all the way up to the top of the mat here, however works for you. Don't worry if you're looking here thinking that's bonkers just now, just do what works for your body at this moment in time. And hanging over your legs, nice bent knees, have them as bent as they need to be to facilitate that nice stretch for you. Inhale, nice soft knees, hands high, chest high. Exhale and just allow everything to fall back down again. And moving from your centre, just taking a few wee steps that feel nice. Go wherever you want to go. We're usually rushing about the day so much that we don't actually get to enjoy just having a wee sway the way we did when we were children. A wee shuffle. So just enjoy it here. And when you're ready, come back to nice, still place. We'll inhale. Allow that left knee to come up. Allow your hands to come up to the sky. And we'll just take a moment here. Flexing your feet. See if you can draw that knee a little bit higher. And on your next exhale, we're just going to reach or step that foot all the way back, and we're going into a nice warrior one position. So our right toes are pointing forward, our left heel's on the ground with our left toes just out a little bit there. And just easing your hips from side to side here. Just feeling your body. Who cares what it looks like? I don't. Do what feels really good for you just now, whether you're a bit higher, whether you're a bit lower. Take an inhale, stretch nice and high. Exhale, coming down into a bit more of a lunge here. With every inhale filling up, and with every exhale, just pushing a little bit further if you can. And despite us intentionally stressing the body a little bit, making it work, bringing those shoulders down, we don't want to be in a place of stress. Softening that back knee. Inhale nice and high. Exhale, bringing our hands behind our back here, clasping, drawing the shoulder blades down. Inhale. Exhale, and we'll fold over that front leg. You can either remain here resting on it, or you can come down to the inside and let everything fall here. So again, go to where works for your body. That's what matters. And when you're ready, rising a little bit with an inhale, bringing your hands down into the inside of that leg. And we're just going to turn into a nice wide forward fold. So softening those knees down, coming in for a few breaths, and we're just going to rock back and forth a little bit here, finding that midpoint under our foot. And then find that place of still. If you can, if you're ready to, just walk your hands out as much as you can here, but keeping the hips pushing back. Imagine I'm behind you, pulling your hips away. That's what we want. We want the sit bones going towards the wall, but we're still walking those fingertips out a little bit like a puppy pose. So this is so good for that range in our shoulders here, all while feeling that stretch down the posterior chain. Pushing your shoulders and your armpits towards yourself a little bit, just feeling that extra stretch. And when you're ready, just walking back in again. We're going to spin back round towards that right foot. Spin the right foot round so the toes are facing the front of your mat. Spinning the left foot round. And then we'll just scooch this right foot out a wee bit so we've got some space in here to stretch off that hip. You can remain here or you can pop that knee down. Just take the stretch that works really well for you right now. We can come down a little bit further if that feels nice for you today. If it doesn't, just remain high. And you might be a little bit different from side to side. That's totally normal. So you don't have to do the same stretch that you did on the other side. You might want to come up and just push that knee out a little bit. And just talking to yourself, are your shoulders up high next to your ears? Or are you melting away with every exhale? Coming back in again, we're going to push the hips back, walk towards our left side to free up that right foot to come up and round. So from here, we're going to keep our hips high. And if you have a mat, you're walking out to the corners of the mat. Top corners. If not, you can imagine that that's what you've got. So we're just pushing those fingers away and we're stretching in to increase that range in our shoulders here, which will help us with life. It will help us with our strength work. And just taking a few breaths. So either your face is coming towards the floor, your chest is coming towards the floor. If it's really uncomfortable, don't push it too far. Take one more breath here. And you can bend your elbows to come out of this nice and safely. Walk your hands towards one another and then start to push back. And we can come back into a nice seated position here with our knees together and just take a moment to breathe. Just have a wee think about how you are, ease everything off, drop the shoulders and take a few breaths. And when you're ready, we'll just come into a nice seated position, or if you want to lie down, go for it. If it's the end of the day and you would rather just switch off a little bit, just do that, because this is the relaxing bit. So it's all for you. What do you need? You do that. And I'll wait. So here we're just going to take a few relaxing breaths. We're going to take some counted breaths. So wherever you are, close your eyes if you can. If you don't like that, just focus somewhere a little bit lower. Make sure you're in a comfortable position. And we'll take a big inhale. And then we're going to exhale and release all of that air. Everything out. Just big cleansing breath here. And with your next inhale, we're going to go for a count of 4. So inhale for 2, 3, 4. A pause at the top. And exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. A little pause at the top. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just continue on with those breaths. Inhaling for a count of 4. A little pause at the top. Exhaling for a count of 6.
And if your mind starts to wander here, that's okay. Don't give yourself a hard time about it. Everybody's does. Just gently remind yourself to come back to that count, that inhale for 4, that pause at the top, and that exhale for 6. And have a wee listen for the noises around you. Often we try to shut everything out when we think it's time to relax and de-stress, and we think that we can't do that if there's stressors going on around us. But the real key is to practice not stressing when there are things to be stressed out about. So taking those inhales, being mindful, knowing that the world goes on, the hustle and bustle goes on, but you've always got time just to take a moment, to take a breath. And if you can practice this when you're drinking your water, when you're driving, please don't close your eyes when you're driving, but when you're driving, taking that breath, elongating your exhales, or when you're simply about to read a book, about to enter work or leave, anytime, just talking to yourself, telling yourself to take those breaths, and then in moments of stress, you will respond a little bit better. So just let yourself come back to your natural breath now. No matter what you're going to do, if you're going off to enjoy the rest of your day, if you're going to sleep, we are in a state where we're easy, we can do whatever we need to do, and that we're going to respond nicely to whatever we're faced with. And just gently open your eyes wherever you are. I hope you really enjoyed that. It can take some practice to put yourself first, particularly in this day and age. I see a combination of people who are aware that they're stressed and people who are unaware that they're stressed. But the common factor there is that everybody's stressed. So don't feel alone if you are there, and if you've maybe just realised that you're unaware that you're often stressed. But it's a really good thing to try and practice mastering the skill of allowing stressful things to happen around you, seeing it for what it is, and that it's not something that needs to heighten your stress levels, and just to breathe and respond a little bit better. And you'll find that hopefully you'll start to become that person that maybe you notice who in their everyday life things just seem really easy for. They just take everything really easily and nothing really fusses them, and they seem to do really well because of that. And really this is the key to that. It's that you can't respond with a stress response and expect things to go well. So we only take on board what we have to, and then have our boundaries for the rest. Anyway, I've talked enough, talked your ear off. So go and enjoy your day, whatever you're up to, and I shall see you next time.